Hello, children. We are going to do the next lesson in EVS 1. Water is very important for our lives. We all need water for many things like cooking, drinking, agriculture, washing clothes, etc. But not only humans, even animals and also plants require water. Now, children, what are the different sources of water? Yes, oceans, ponds, rivers, lakes, and streams. But now the question is, where do they get the water from? Well, it's from the rain. All the water that we get comes from the rain. It is the rain that fills in all lakes, rivers, streams, ponds, etc. This rainwater flows away, and some of this water seeps into the ground. But the rainy season lasts for 3 to 4 months, and along with us human beings, all other living things use this water throughout the year. So, if we do not store water, we will not have enough water for our needs. And that is why we must not waste water and save as much as possible. Children, now you all know the importance and different sources of water. Today, we will learn the different ways of storing water in the lesson Storage of Water. First, we will see the traditional methods of storing water. In the olden days, people used to store water in many different ways, but nowadays these methods are very rarely used. However, their remains can be seen in many places, even though we are not using them. Some of them are very beautiful, and water in these stores never get over. Children, look at this picture. What is this? Yes, you all guessed it right. It's a well. Most of you must have seen a well either at your native place or somewhere or the other. And so you all are familiar with the well. So the rainwater seeps into the ground, and so wells are dug to obtain this water. Next is water tanks in forts. In the past, during the rule of Shivaji and other rulers, the hill forts had tanks dug into the stone for people who lived on the hill forts, like soldiers and all the others, as they also needed water. Now, in those days, there were no taps, so tanks were dug into the stone. Next is draw well, which is also known as ad. These are found mainly in the villages. In the past, draw wells were dug to get drinking water. The water could be drawn from these wells using a small pot called as pohara, which is tied to a rope. A village named Atpadi in Sangli district had a draw well in every wada. When the tap water system was introduced, these draw wells went out of use. That is, people stopped using these draw wells. Now there are very few left in Atpadi, as many are sealed, which means these wells are covered. Rivers and bunds. A small earthen wall is built across the river so as to store the water. Now this small wall which is built is called as bund. Now the mason is a person who uses stones, bricks and concrete to build up this wall. And that is why this wall is called as and earthen or masonry bunds. Old reservoirs. Now, the water collected in the form of artificial lake is called as reservoirs. These reservoirs were built in areas which received very less rainfall or in areas without a major river. Most of the reservoirs were built using stones and mortar. Now, mortar means a paste, okay, which is used to bind bricks or stones like a cement. So, this material was used to build reservoirs. Old tanks, which are also known as haud. It was mainly built in large cities to store water in the past. Some of them are still in use even today. In those days, as there were no taps and as the cities were growing, they needed huge tanks. So, for that purpose, these tanks were built in the cities. Dear children, this is Savni and Ameya. They get tap water in their house. And so the water from the draw well, which had been used since the old days, is not used any longer. And because of this, their grandmother is upset. And now we have to suggest how Savni and Ameya can use the draw well water for any other purposes other than drinking. Can you help them, my dear children, to make their grandmother happy? Come on, think. Okay, here we are with the solution. Now they can use this water for watering the plants, washing clothes, for cleaning the utensils, for taking bath, and also to clean the house. This way they can make their grandmother happy. Children, now let us see the modern methods of water storage, or which are also known as recent systems of storing water. Dams. You all must have heard about the dams. It is the most important of all recent water storages. Dams made it possible to store huge quantities of water, because of which more land was brought under cultivation. Cities began to grow near the areas where dams were built. It became possible to set up factories and generate electricity, because of which Maharashtra has several dams such as Jayakwadi, Koyana, Ujjani, and Yeldari. Bore wells. Children, we have learned that earlier wells were dug to reach the water under the ground, but it was not possible to draw the water which was very deep down. Hence, bore wells were dug for this purpose. These wells are very deep but very narrow, and to draw water from these wells is only possible with the help of electric pumps. And the last is the panpoi, which means drinking water stands. Now, people out on the roads at times need water when they are thirsty. In some places, big clay jars of drinking water are kept for the use of such people. This water is offered free of charge, and this is known as panpoi. These panpois are set up by individuals or institutions. It's mainly like social service to help the people without any profit. These panpois are very useful, especially in summer. We mainly find them near the railway station or on the main road. Children, I hope you understood the different methods of water storage. Children, always remember water is a natural resource. All living things need water. We must keep this in mind and use water carefully. Thank you, children. Have a nice day.